Yes, today it's 7th April 2026. I am Mpima John, a student from Makerere University, offering bachelor's in library and information science. And today I'm here at the palace of the Adhola of Eastern Uganda, the King Adhola. And here with me, I'm with...
I am by the name Right Honorable Ochodembe Joseph, the Speaker of the Supreme Assembly. That is the legitimate arm of the cultural institution of Adhola. And I'm also the clan leader of Uroga Demba, among the 6 clans that constitute the Adhola cultural institution. I'm privileged to be here and present the position of the Adhola with some of the cultural practices.
How are names chosen? How do they choose those names for the newborn children?
Yeah, basically, how do names originate?
Yeah.
Among the Adholas,
Yes.
the names originally follow the season. For example, if it's time, the season of we have different seasons for sowing, for weeding, maybe at night during the rain. The names are according to the situations and the locations. For example, if a child is born in the banana plantation, a girl is referred as Nyapendi, and the boy is referred as Upendi. If a child is born on the way,
yes,
away from the family, particularly for the boys are called Oloka. Unfortunately for the girls are not very common. And if it is time for harvesting, let us say peas, we call them Nyafono or Orofono for the boys. If the situation when there's a famine, we call them Okech for boys and Akech for girls. Now, if it is born during rain, we say Akoth, that's for girls, and for boys, Okoth. If you do at night, girls are called Awori, and boys are called Owori, and many others. That's one way of naming. Another way, names are given from the past ancestors, in memory of the ancestors, particularly those who are well known to have performed well. So among the dead, they identify those in memory. In fact, among the Adholas, people don't die. That's why the names are being mentioned continuously, so that they know that they're still living.
Okay. Then another thing, like, can a child be given more than one name? Or does a child has to be with a specific name? Like, for example, you have given us Okoth or Akoth. Can a child have maybe 2 names like Akoth and maybe Acheng?
It is not that one is not. If it is situational, names are specific. But if it is for in memory of the ancestors,
yes,
there may be an argument that maybe the mother says, the grandmother may say one position and the grandfather says another position. So they may disagree on who should be the child be called. So maybe the will have the 2 uncles.
Yes.
Maybe one uncle was called Ufono, another uncle was called Okoth, the late.
Yes.
Now, in that circumstances, the argument is made, and eventually a win-win position is done by throwing two hands on top of the house. And the one which falls down first takes the name. So there is no way where somebody can have two names. It is specifically one. You are identified as one person. But now you may, the name may appear two, they say, or Ochodemba.
Yes.
Eh?
Yes.
But in English and any other thing, that still refers to one person. When you say Ochodemba, that's just one name.
That's one name.
Yeah. And that name refers to only one person.
Okay.
Yeah.
So these things you said about throwing hands up. So each hand is given a specific name for a person who is deceased, like maybe a black and white hen. One hen, a white one, they name another person, then a black one,
Yeah,
another person.
the name, you say Okumu and Okelo.
Yes.
Now, we are here, maybe the child is crying, and the spirits are struggling, they are competing. So, Okelo, the child is crying, or Okumu, the child is crying. So, what they do, say this is Okelo, this is Okalo. Now, we are there, whoever comes first, he want peace. And once Okelo comes down, then we know takes the position.
Okay.
Yeah.
Then maybe another thing, like the way you already mentioned, the people who are responsible for organizing this birth naming, child naming ceremonies, who are they and at what stage officially is a child supposed to be named?
The child, sometimes now these days differs, but traditionally,
Yes.
the child is born, and a date is proposed after 3 days. Then the child is normally named. And normally it's done by either those grandparents or an elderly person in the family.
Okay. So, what spiritual beliefs are associated with this naming? Do they follow maybe a spiritual belief that we should name these people according to this spiritual belief? Or the grandparents can just decide any name to give? Or they have to follow those procedures like spiritual beliefs?
For special names,
Yes.
and the pathologists normally give according to situation. When it is raining, when it is night, when it is harvesting time, when it is hunger time, when it is war. Huh?
Okay.
That one has no particular, has no relation with spiritual purposes. But for the late, the name from the ancestral groups, uh, they are also considered. For example, if somebody who had been ill-mannered, bewitched, whatever, or has never married throughout his life, such people are associated with an abomination, and they are hardly not named. Their names not exist. We normally consider people who have performed well, who have lived well in community. That's their name must be maintained. If you name somebody who has been a bewitched, it's believed that such a child will also be a witch. So we don't recommend.
Okay. Then what objects or symbols are used during these ceremonies, these child naming ceremonies? Like, for example, maybe the twins, when the twins are being born, when they are naming them, which objects do they use during the naming processes?
Mm, for the twins, they normally have those spots with the I would call it two mouths, and there's a special plant which is normally also brought, and then there's special persons, preachers who perform. Those were not everybody.
Yes.
They're specific persons, and then also what we call the okewos, the nieces,
The nieces.
are the ones who are supposed to come. And there's what we call wombele, the specific kind of a climbing plant. It must appear, and the preacher, the priest, I would call the chief priest, does the operation. Some of those things are technical for the priests.
So they are the ones who
know
how
what items to be used because they are invited.
Okay. So they are specific. Those items are supposed to be there when they are naming those children.
Yes.
Okay. Are there traditional food or items also used during this tradition? A specific food that we have to maybe to bring millet or sorghum, anything that are used during this ceremony?
For the Japadola, traditional food is just millet bread is a key factor.
Yes.
And it must appear as one of the major foods. And it normally goes with the celebrations like that. We need good eatings. We need meat, we need the hens, and other sauces also. Particularly, there's one we call a kale.
Yeah.
It must be given to the mother. The mother, because sometimes to induce the milk, because a kale is a bit bitter, but normally it's given to mothers so that they quickly generate milk.
Milk for the children.
Yes.
Okay. Then are those traditional naming practices still observed today, or they are no longer practiced today?
With the modernity now, particularly with the elites now, some of these children are born in the hospitals. They are born in Kampala. But those who are born at home in the traditional settings, it is still being practiced. But for those the generations where the children are born in the hospitals, the mothers and the fathers normally prefer their names, which are not traditionally Japadola, or sometimes they call on phone and they say, we have given a birth. My wife has given a birth, a baby boy. So what name can we give? Because in the hospital, immediately the child is born, they need a name. So you cannot take 3 days like we take at home. So immediately you ring the elders. Good children who are well brought up, they consult their parents that who have given birth. My wife has given a birth to a baby boy or a baby girl. What name do we give? Those are children who are disciplined. They consult their parents. But others don't consult. They say it is their right and the child is theirs. So they have the right to name. Like any child born is a child's right to have a name. You don't deny the child a name because it is a right to have a name. Like it's a right to know the father and the right to know the mother.
Okay. Thank you so much for that. Then another cultural rituals, they always call them Tedabor. Tedabor rituals. So what is Tedabor and why is it so important in the Jopadola community?
Abor is just preparing a good sauce. Abor is a good sauce. Normally, when that function takes place, they prepare good sauces, particularly from the hens, the cows, cow meat, goat meat, and that flavor is what is referred to as abore, something very nice. And it is that is more of an eating ceremony. So we associate with a lot of eating and good eatings with good sauce. So abore is nothing but a good sauce.
So at what stage in a relationship between a man and a woman is Tedabor ceremony performed? Is it performed immediately after the girl has come to a man's place, or it's done maybe in the middle there? At what stage do they always do that?
The processes. Originally, when a girl gets married, the other family that has taken the girl, the boy tells, that's traditional, the boy tells the parents, the mother or the father, that I have a visitor. And a visitor stays also in the house for about a 1 day or two. Then before they come out, they prepare a good sauce. Then when they come out, the mzee has to call the girl and the mother. They call the girl outside. They ask her what her name is, the clan where she comes from, such that to ensure that the boy does not bring a relative. So upon confirming that's not a relative, the girl stays there, and eventually after about 2 weeks in those days, the mzee will get to one friend, maybe about 3 or 4 people only, to go and report that my dog has stolen. So they refer to the boy as a dog that has stolen.
Yes.
Now the stealing is now the lady. So in case you may be looking for somebody missing here, I want to assure you she is in safe hand. And normally they pay some little gifts, and so that the process goes on. And the marriage itself, it depends on the family where the girl is. If they have some resources for giving the gifts, they prepare early. If the gifts are not there, even sometimes they take, when the girl has given birth to 2 or 3 children, that's after they have stabilized. Eh? The boys normally fear. They study the behavior of the girl. The family said that you don't need to hurry. Because when you quickly go and go for the pride gifts, it may be regrettable. So they give themselves time to set the girl. That's why maybe after a child or two, that's when they now know the girl is fit to be there. So they only prepare that one when they know the girl is well organized and disciplined. For children who are not disciplined, they may find themselves divorced from the family.
Okay. So these table rituals, are they organized by the groom's family or the bride's? The boy's family is one which organizes or the girl's family?
In Uganda and many other cultures in Uganda, Adhola inclusive, it's the boys who prepare and give gifts. These are the thanksgiving to the girl's family for rearing. From the time of conception, the mother takes 9 months. There's so many processes the mother goes through. Now, they need to in memory and helping the mother for well upbringing. They need the salt, those things that the girl will used to have, clothes, and maybe some few animals, just as gifts to the girl's family.
Okay. So, as you already said, the process that takes, like the process that take place before the tender board, the girl stays for like 2 to 3 days in the house before coming out. So, how are clan leaders also involved in this marriage process? Do they also invite the clan leaders in this process, or only the family members?
When we talk of clan leaders, the clan leaders may range from the very family, because we have, for example, the chairman of the lineage,
Yes.
the oath, that's the lineage.
Okay.
Eh? The immediate family members, that's the lineage. They are the very first people to organize, and sometimes they involve the uncles from both sides and the neighbors. They say we are preparing to have visitors here. They are given maybe invitation, and normally those people come with other things to support the family that is going to receive the visitors. And in the event that they bring those items, sometimes after the visitors are gone, they are also given some small shares, particularly the inner circles.
Okay. Then, during this tender board ceremony, like the traditional items were carried during that process?
Well, traditionally,
Traditionally.
uh, among the Japadola, used to be 5 cows, 5 goats. You have a needle, you have a cock, you have a knife, you have salt, sugar, soap, those are, and some other clothes that are given to the siblings
Okay.
of the girl's family. And then eh, there's also, then the other people also prepare to receive the visitors.
Okay. So the what was the importance of these cow parts? Because what I know, the cow parts were also included, like maybe the thigh of a cow plus the chicken. Why were they so important? And I guess even up to now, they are still important. What
Yeah,
does it symbolize?
for the cock,
Yes.
the cock, for example, is given to the elder brother to the girl, and to the elder brother to the girl that hands over the girl, the boy. So he says, my brother-in-law, this is your sister, and therefore, because it's the brother of the girl who does the ceremony of handing over the girl to the husband. It's not performed by the father-in-law or mother-in-law, but the elder brother. That cox is for the person. And then the thigh here, it is the beginning. They know that visitors are going to be there. They even sometimes carry the millet bread, I mean flour, so that all this is to accompany the family as a source.
Okay. So according to the cultural process, how it was, the traditionally the way it was, and now the modernization. How has this modernization affected the Tedabor ceremony practices?
Yeah, now there's a lot of with modernity now. There's a lot of they now call either introduction. There are other things that are also done before. Eh? The introduction is a ceremony which is also takes a lot of money, and then eventually the real marriage practice. But sometimes they now mixed, and now, but this introduction is the very introduction that the other mosaic could go with only 2 or 3 people with little luggage to the family. But now this introduction now they have made it very complex. They bring so many things and very expensive. So we see the modern arranging the modern marriage very expensive as compared to traditional marriage. And many of our boys find it difficult to manage, and that makes some boys to fear getting married because it's very expensive for the children now. So most boys say, I would rather stay without a girl because it's very expensive. Sometimes you go and they give you the whole compound to buy tents, chairs, the systems, and the cameras. So the mosaic gives you the whole compound. By the time you end up, you regret. And that's why it is now making it difficult for poor boys to get married.
Okay. So I guess that's why young people now don't value this Tedabor ceremony so much because they fear the expensive things that they're supposed to bring and so on. So does this culture practice are they being preserved or in our culture here in the Adhola culture? Is this marriage culture still preserved
What
somewhere?
we are seeing now, it is as if it's being eroded by modern ways because these things of introduction bring very many people. The other one, very few people could attend. But now this one brings very many people, and many items are brought in the shops. The vehicle must carry matoke, they carry soda, they carry everything. And then you see that for the siblings and the aunties,
Yes.
somebody can name about 20 aunties, each of them with the gomas, and the other uncles with the councils, with the different, it becomes very expensive. So most people, even modern girls now who are educated, they prefer the modern way because it is a way of getting resource from the boys' family. It's an economic exploitation.
Okay. Then if we go to another cultural ritual, about death and funeral rites. Like, how is death perceived in the Adhola culture? How do how does the culture see death?
Is in fact that is a very unfortunate situation, and normally among the Padhola, they believe that nobody can die. There's no natural death. Death is always caused by somebody else. That's why for whoever has died, whether old age or young or what, they believe somebody has bewitched. So they know that death is something so painful, so bad that they expect the people not to die. So if any an occurrence happens that somebody has died at whatever age, they believe that somebody has been bewitched. So they associate death with witchcraft.
Okay. So are there rituals that are being done immediately, that are performed
Yeah,
immediately before burial?
yeah. Immediately somebody has died. Immediately somebody has died, they have to stretch the person in a good position such that they dress the person because the muscles may be stiff. So if it is whatever the case, they bring water, clean the person, they stretch and dress the person so that they put the person in a good position, the legs together and the face facing up, so that if he doesn't have clothes, they must prepare the clean clothes and they prepare maybe the bed or the floor so that before an alarm is made. And after that one, they make an alarm showing people that we have lost somebody.
Okay. So why is, like, who is responsible for preparing that body for the burial?
Yeah, every clan has responsible persons. There's somebody in charge of burial, and who knows the Catholic practice of what burial should be and how to prepare the body. There is specific person in every clan, but these days because it is a non-payable, most of these members are not doing their work well. They may even take a day without appearing where somebody has died. But now, because all other family members have grown up as a Catholic practice, most of people have lived locally. They know what to do. So either neighbors or some family members take the responsibility of preparing. And it's normal, not in-laws. So if it is your father, you don't participate, if your mother don't participate, invite somebody elderly to help you. Normally, elderly persons are the ones to prepare the body. Because they should, for example, if it's time for making the grapes, each clan has different directions how the head faces. Some face east, some face south, some west, some north, for different reasons. And besides, when they are in the coffin, their positions, the body, somebody does not face the sun directly or up. So the slide is slant to the person. For men, all men or male, they lie on their right, slightly facing they lie on their right, and the head is tilted a little so that they don't just face up. And for women, generally in the entire Padhola, they lie on their left hand, tilted. And if for my clan, for example, when we bury, they must face east. I don't know ranger. I'm not very conversant. That's a universal position for every clan. They have agreed that you face either north or east. And this is a practice, this cultural practice. You cannot question why. It has been a practice for long, and it's now a belief that you must do that. And if somebody by accident is not buried in the right way, and they discover later, they have to what?
Remove
To remove
the body.
the body.
Okay. So why is the body kept in the house overnight? Like if a person dies, he has to sleep in a house like for one night before the burial.
Where? Yeah. The different clans have normally when a body dies, like somebody dies today, like today is a Tuesday.
Yes.
It is a condition that a body may not be buried tomorrow, but normally the next day, and it is a condition. And with the modern ways, they say they want a body treated, but now they're asking me for the reason, because to give ample time for people to mobilize resources, and some relatives are partially far. And it is our belief that before a close relative dies, all the close relatives must be present to show final farewell. You cannot give a farewell when somebody is in the grave. So to give ample time for close family members to come and say final farewell. They should physically be present when the body is being lowered in the grave. That means they're saying the final farewell.
Okay. So what traditional materials are used during this burial? Are there traditional materials that are being used?
Now, in those days, we used bark cloth. We use a bark cloth. But now, the bark cloth is no longer there. We need to have a coffin. That's what we need to have decent, decent burial. Because this person who is dying has been a family member. So you must accord him or her. This is the last thing you're doing for the person. Give him all the time and the due respect, the good send off, so that wherever he's going to go, you know, you don't regret. He peacefully, internally, he feels that I've been given decent burial. So they prepare those places, because this is the last person, maybe he left his wealth, he has many children. Every person contributes to see that the best is done, and is as referred as decent burial, so that the body rests in peace. Basically, we have these days we have coffin, we have sheets, and some of the person's clothes that I admire most. Eh? There are clothes that a person normally puts on. He says, when that cloth is left out, it may make people to, because the moment you look at that cloth, you look at the person. So such clothes are buried with, because a person has used it for long. The moment if you leave it there, people begin mourning for almost 2 months. So those things must disappear with the person, so that it reduces the memory. Because it takes time for somebody to lose memory. Somebody like your father has been with you for the last 80 years, it may not be easy for you to lose memory in a week or so. And that's why sometimes they used to take about a month or two to prepare for another ceremony called the necromancy.
So there is another ceremony that is prepared after the burial.
Immediately after that, there is one which is called the Pigiwangajo. You know, when someone has died, there's a lot of mourning. Tears come out.
Yes.
And the tears are associated with the demons. Go back in their homes immediately, unless that ceremony of Pigiwangajo is done. Or if they go back with that, it is believed that they will go back with the spirit of the dead. So either the mother, so that he says, Mama, we have finished you, we have done, make some drinks there and some eats. And the girls should maybe bring food, they bring hens and what. So they say, they believe that it is giving Mama the food so that they go away.
Okay. So why is drumming and communal mourning important? Like, why do they use, traditionally, why do they use that drumming method during the burial? Because they used to drum.
One, drumming is a way that has almost variety of purposes. It makes somebody to temporarily, eh, if it is if temporarily forget that he has lost somebody. If there's some music at the background, even people dance or what, temporarily they forget the misfortune. That's one. And also, those are the traditional drums which are played for important persons when they have died. So those drums, for example, have a shield. Some clans like the Beranga Owen, they have what we call a shield. The big drums as are played to specific people with the age limits, very old people. And that one is to show them that they belong, those are ancestral drums to send them off. And also drums are used for making people know that we have lost somebody. It's a way of calling people. So that means a communication. Thank you.
There are specific procedures for different categories of people, like elders or children.
Yes.
Those drums are always being used on elders,
On elders,
not children.
not much.
Okay. Then how long does this mourning period always last?
Yeah, the morning is a, you have asked a very good question. And even the drumming,
Yes.
uh, the moment somebody has the drumming and the morning will begin when somebody has died. And but after burial, they are normally the day there's a call, we call another day for we call the day for liedo. That's for shaving of the hair. Now, those drums, we believe that the drums, a lot of noise and mourning, make the spirit of the person to feel frightened and they run away from the home. So they go very far because there's a lot of drumming. It frightens the spirits of the person. So they go very well in the swamps, in the forest up there. That's where the person is hanging up there. Now, they remain there. That's why after somebody has been buried, the mourning and the drumming should stop. Even the modern system should stop. And the modern system is even worse. They make a lot of noise. They chase away the spirits very, very far. You know, the spirits, when somebody has died, the spirits are very fearful. They don't want noise. So, immediately somebody has been buried, we don't expect people to mourn, we don't want drums, we don't want this music to continue. The moment you continue, you continue making the person run away further and further and further. So you wait on the third day or fourth day, on the day from the time he died, and then we say we are going to shave. Then the niece take people to say we are going to shave your hair, and when they are there, they play soft music, calling the person, the spirit which has run away, because the spirit has left the room, so that they bring and run around it, they buy meat, chicken, they cook inside there, so that they come with the spirit that, please, we are taking you back to your house. They come slowly, slowly, singing music, what a traditional song of that clan. They sing slowly, bring the person like that, 3 times if it's a man, 4 times, and then they bring inside, and people begin to eat. So from there we feel the spirit has been brought back in the house. And that's why for somebody's house who's a mature, you don't need to close the door. Also, if you close the door, the person may be just outside there in the plantation and find the door closed. So the door must remain like the door of the police or the police post. There's no, the door is from the day it is open until I don't know when it is ever open, so that the owner of the house may want to go and maybe enjoy sunshine. It's believed. Now,
Yes.
if you close the person outside, thank you.
Okay. Then maybe the last question on that funeralize, like, what is the importance of slaughtering a cow near the grave? Do they still do that?
Eh, because somebody, we say we are giving you a celebration. Eh?
Yes.
Because the day of the last funeral rites, particularly the last funeral rites called
Yes.
Lumbe,
Yes.
somebody in religion would say in Polokatori, is still hanging. So on that day, that's when you finally say, you have left us and we want you to leave us in peace and forget you. So before you do the Lumbe, the person is still hanging around. So the last ceremony we call the Lumbe, that's in Logan.
Yes.
Eh? It is giving the person last farewell. Like the girl is getting married, you say, these are your bags, you no longer belong to this family. We give it, after that one, you go with your husband. So you no longer belong to us, but you may come once in a while.
Yes.
So that's just a last ceremony. So that again, it does not, and he forgets us. And we begin, once the Lumbe is gone, you forget the person. You know that he has died.
So that lumbe is done just any time. It has no specific time that after burial.
Normally, after sometimes people, as I told you,
Yes.
somebody who has lived with you for 80 years, like your father or your mother, you cannot easily forget the person in a day or a week. Unfortunately, some religions, they believe that there's no need to do that. But you cannot forget the person, like your mother, you have seen her for 80 years, times 12 months, times 24 hours, times 60 minutes. The memory is in you. So you need ample time so that you cool down. So that it's not done, it's not done in 1 or 2 years, at least 4 or 5 years.
So that's when lumbe is done. At
Yes.
least 4 to 5 years.
Yeah.
Okay. Yes. Then another cultural practice, it is about the traditional drinking, Congo. Like, when is Congo traditionally prepared and consumed?
Not traditional drinking, but traditional drinks.
Yes.
Traditional drinks, we have many items, but that is one, the Maloa or Congo.
Yes.
What was your question?
Like, when is this traditional drinking prepared and consumed?
What functions?
Yeah, like what functions?
Okay. Uh, in all ceremonies, these drinks, these are drinks which are to accompany the ceremonies. Like in other person, you will go to soft drinks or what, beer. So in all ceremonies, they must appear. Naming ceremony, the celebrations, they must appear. And they normally appear after, so that after the closure, so that people remain recapitulating. It is a way of entertainment. Eh? How you entertain your guests or visitors traditionally. They do it after the ceremonies, and then they live at leisure. So in all traditional ceremonies of Padol, naming, a birth, marriage, all this must appear.
Okay. So does traditional drinking like Congo, does it play a big role in the community?
It is a way of socialization. It is a socializing agent. When people are there, it is a means of socializing the community members, mobilizing community members to participate and entertain. It's a way of entertainment.
Okay. So is there a specific person who is responsible for brewing Congo, like making Congo?
All women, of the Adhola community
Yes.
are expected to know, because it is something paramount in every home. So all women are expected to perform, to know the procedures of making, the stages of making that malwa, and they are trained by senior family members like the grands. So it is one of the duties for a newly married woman to be trained on how to make, because at any one time she expects a family to have a function, and she must prepare that thing for entertaining the family members. It's normally the women.
Okay. So it symbolizes a specific thing in the community, drinking.
Yes.
So how does it mark the end of mourning periods? Because they always use it in ceremonies like mourning periods. So does Kong also work as a symbol to end the mourning process?
What time of the day?
Like, how does Congo sin like mark the end of mourning in a funeral? Like they always use drinking, traditional drinking, for example, Congo. eh? Like, how does it mark the end of mourning? Is it important to be there at the end of the funeral? Or even though the Congo is not there in the funeral, it can also continue
But for the funeral, it is not there, but it comes very late after the burial.
after the burial.
After the burial, and he, and it is mainly done after the burial in the evenings. But if there are rituals to be done in the morning, yeah, it's also done in the morning. So it does not have a specific time for taking. Depends on the time the ritual is taking place. If the ritual is taking place in the morning, it's done in the morning. If the midday. If the afternoon or evening, there are some rituals are done at night.
So there is no rule or etiquette of drinking this traditional drink.
No,
It can be taken anytime.
no specific time.
Okay. So are there rituals being performed before drinking, or people just drink for leisure?
Mm, okay. Yeah. For example, in those days,
Yes.
before you drink, there's normally a small pot, which is put there if it is near the grave or in the corner of the house.
Yes.
For the day, you give it there and make some sayings, invite them there before you begin, so that you give the dead are also with us. Once we enjoy, they must also enjoy. So you put them as there's a small pot there, and if there's a function, there's some little food also put there with the pieces. Normally gizzards like that. Because you believe you're celebrating, they must celebrate with you together. They were part of you, and they have only gone. They are hidden somewhere, but they are seeing what is happening. They are even protecting us. They can foretell anybody thing which is going to happen in the family in terms of dreams. They can foretell. They tell family members this kind of thing is going to happen. So we live with them.
So Congo drinking, it is also related with the ancestral respect and
Yes.
okay. Then are there songs or maybe prayers or blessings associated with this traditional drinking? Are they supposed to sing some songs or prayers or maybe beliefs when drinking?
Now, for example, before you, even these days, as you put your tube,
Yes,
as you put your tube, particularly those who have given birth to twins, before you begin testing, you must you put the tube in the Congo, and then you drop it down almost 2 3 times. That means you are inviting the ancestors to join you. With them, they are not drinking in the pot, but they are drinking. With them, they are in the ground. You drop it there 3 times, so that you invite them that we are being here, you also come. If you don't do that one, they will shock you. The Congo will shock you.
So you mean that before taking, using that straw. You have to first of all
It makes
sprinkle it on the
around the pot.
the pot.
That means you are inviting the spirits to join you. If you don't do that, normally you get a shock from the throat.
Okay. Then, like, what challenges are affecting the continuity of this tradition, like drinking practices?
Yeah, religion is now religion is attacking because some religions people are not advised to drink. So they totally campaigning. So it's a source of, they look at it as a source of immorality. Eh? So when people after drinks, the side effects of drinking Malwa or Congo has so many side effects. Some people fight, some people encourage them to go thieves, to go and rape girls and what in the at night. So the side effects are now making some other religious groups not to promote.
Traditional drinking.
Yeah.
Okay. Then maybe other things like, are these practices not only traditional drinking? My marriage, the double, then maybe child naming plus the death and funeral rites, are they still preserved, or is there any place which is now maybe put together so that they preserve this culture of the Chapadola and Adola culture?
Yeah, the preservation now we are looking at some of these things. We need to do a lot of write-ups because most of these things are storytelling. Eh? We need documentation if we want to maintain this. Without documentation, we are likely to lose because these things are normally told by elders, and some of these elders are dying without documentation. And if they die, we shall lose the core values of these cultural practices. So we need some. We are very happy, like the youths who are coming on, who know how to organize the writing, do more research, consultation, and you put this into documentations. That's one way of how you're going to preserve the core values of cultural practices in Japan.
Okay. So what is the role of Were in all this? Because Were, the spring being, eh, like in everyday life, how is he worshipped through for example, the Odibura, the shrine houses? Do they still follow these cultural practices when they are worshipping the divine supreme God?
Yeah, the different homes and different clans still practice because they believe that before the coming of the Christianity, the African culture, the Japadola, had their own god, and their god was referred as to Were, and they had their own way where they were doing what, where they were we have chief priests in every clan,
Yes.
and Padola as a whole, for example, if you look at Nyakiriga, eh,
Yes.
that is like the Vatican of the Padola. That is the first church before the modern churches came here. That is the first church among the Padol. That's the main church. That is the Vatican. And then every other homes, they have their small shrines and different gods. The gods of the road, of the compound, and of the wilderness. There are three different gods. And they were worshiping them. And each of those things had their own meaning. But because these days religion has come, uh, few people are practicing it.
Okay. So, what measures are being taken to educate youths on these cultural ritual practices, maybe to fight against the loss of culture? Because, like recently, I heard when they are celebrating the 100th birthday of our king, the King Adhola, Kwar Adhola, mm, like they opened up things like to celebrate the culture. Are those things still being done?
Well, maybe what you're saying, how to preserve them.
Yes.
One of the key roles of the cultural institution is to deal with the preservation of cultural practices. The major core is preservation of positive cultural practices. There are some which are negative, which are now we are denouncing.
Okay.
as an institution. But there are core ones which are positive cultural practice. It must be maintained as a way of identity. For example, there was a cultural practice which a bad one, which we are now denouncing, like what inheritance,
Yeah.
widow inheritance.
Yes.
But because of other factors now, equality, human rights, and then the coming of HIV, we are not now practicing that one. But there are things like naming children and marriage ceremony, funeral rites. That one is core. We cannot do away with that.
Okay. Thank you so much for taking your time to participate in this study. And your responses are valuable in preserving and understanding the Adhola culture heritage. And we thank you so much because this information you have given us is going to help us preserve this information and also help the future generation into understanding the Adhola culture very well and also maintain it for other future use also.